Edit. That's what the name of this is called. I try to do these without editing things together, without really a script, to kind of just throw out there what is on my mind. And it seems to be consistent over the last 8 years I've been doing these. I have over 300 of these on YouTube. I've been doing them even before YouTube was much of a thing. I remember doing my first podcast in 2010, 2011, 2012. They're on the back page of my website, on a hidden page, actually. If you're interested, let me know. But those were back when I was still exploring how things were done in podcasting, where I was transitioning from before my break in chiropractic and when I was coming back into the mindset of how practice is, how the philosophy of chiropractic is, um, how we should do things. And so it was a good formative time back then. But there's a lot of editing, and looking through Facebook today, see what my cohorts have been posting, and it really questions your credibility when you have to edit screenshots to make it fit your narrative. It's like taking scripture out of bad analogy here, but when people take scripture out of context to reinforce their point rather than looking at the text and seeing what it actually says, that bothers me as well. But when you take somebody's tweets and you have to edit them to make your point, you've already lost my attention. You've lost my support. If you have to edit it, then it wasn't that strong to begin with. I understand taking snapshots and putting them together, but when you have to go in and erase something and put in a different date when that's not even how Twitter looks, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. There's better ways to do it, um, and just like in real life. Well, it is real life, but just like in real life, you've got to cover something up to make your point. Your point's invalid to begin with. How's that do with chiropractic? Well, again, I've not needed to go back and change anything that I've said. Everything I said is what I believe and what I know to be true based upon my experience and exposure and training and expertise. Um, the body was built to take care of itself for a certain amount of time. And if we assist the body in its mission by giving it good motion, by giving it good food, by giving it good hydration and good sleep, and keeping the nervous system free of interference, it's going to live out its mission of existing very well for that predetermined amount of time. Our body was built to adapt to its environment, regardless of what your theological belief is. Human beings are one of the most adaptive species the world's ever known. That's what we dominate everything. Um, and then when you throw the theology on it, we are mandated to be good stewards of what we've been given. And so we need to make sure that we're good stewards of our body. We need to sure we're good stewards of our environment, of the creation around us, and even the people around us, especially in our family, in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our states, in our nations, in our continents, in the world. We need to just be good stewards of those people and those resources around us. Chiropractic is the profession that assists in that. We, as a profession, our fundamental philosophy is we don't force the body to do anything it's not ready to do. We don't even force the body to do something it is ready to do. All we do is remove interference so that it has the ability to adapt like its design instructs it. That adaptation happens 100 billion times a second, a trillion times a second, even if it was only 100,000 times a second. There's no way for me as another human being trying to adapt myself to interject anything that's going to help you, to interject any kind of force that's going to force you to change. All I can do is help your body remove interference to the changes it already knows it needs to make, whether that's on a electrolyte balancing level, whether it's on a hormone balancing level, whatever the changes are that's being transmitted by the nerves from the brain to the body. All we do is remove that interference so you can function better. Yesterday was Super Bowl 54, 55. The interesting thing was, I think there was only one pass interference, but they call it a holding because the pass was uncatchable. There really was no interference in the game last night. You could argue that the refs were the actual interference in the first half, but it was still a game that had very little interference calls. So you got to see the real game and the real skills of the players going forward. The interference is always, whether it's in a game or in the body, mess up the intention and mess up the expression of the talent that's in the game or in the body. So again, no edits. Covering that up by copy pasting, by um, telling a false story, by telling a partial story, just causes me to question the veracity of the story you're telling me in the first place. So that's why I lay it all out here. You hear the good, bad, and the ugly from me, so that you know that my integrity is shining through as good as it can. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. That would be editing the story, which would cause you to question my veracity, my truthfulness. I'm just going to lay it out there. Every time I do one of these, it's what I feel on that day. It's what I'm thinking on that day. It's what I'm wrestling with, struggling with, and hopefully that encourages you. Hopefully that enhances your expression and experience of life, and hopefully something that I'm working on that I put into words to put into this format affects positively you going forward. My mission in life is to positively affect the health, wealth, and spiritual condition of everyone I meet by caring, sharing, giving, and teaching. And that's one of the avenues I do this with are these daily check-ins, even though they've not been daily recently. But I'll get better at that as we go along. Anyway, a lot of rambling there, but if we remember, if we have to edit our story to make it fit a narrative, it makes it less believable. Just tell the truth, stick to what's real, and let's go forward together. Love you guys. Take care. Bye bye.